And for a long time now, I've been wanting to practice Al-FaatiHah. Two things will help you practice well. One, siwak. Two, nice hot cup of tea or coffee. But personally, I find that tea works better. Let's practice Surah Al-FaatiHah together. This is a practice for me also. So I'm not reciting it under the guise of being an expert. And I'm very confident that if I were to sit with any of the sheikhs, they would correct me. So what I'm hoping to do here is just maybe help some brothers and sisters that perhaps I can help. And that's not a negation that I may need help also. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Here you see this tall, lanky S. That's to represent the seen, sharp whistle sound. Seen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So don't pronounce that like whatever S you might pronounce in your language, if it's not this. Bismillahi. Now you see these two L's here. They are green. And they have this arrow underneath of them. That's to represent a doubled letter. So whenever you see two letters together, even if there's a dash in between them, don't worry about that. That dash is only for the transliteration. Whenever you see two letters together like that, that means they are doubled letters. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Surah Al-FaatiHah has 14 doubled letters. If you miss one, you need to go back and fix it. If you do not, then your recitation is invalid. And if your recitation is invalid, if you don't fix it, then your prayer will be invalid also. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So those are doubled. That's why I'm lingering on the letter, because I'm doubling it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Then we have an extended vowel that's represented by these two A's. Also here, two A's. Here you have two E's. Whenever we have two A's or two E's, or down here we have two O's, boo, that's for an extended vowel. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 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 Now, you see here this big H that's bold and has an underline, and again here, and reappears also in different places. That's for the letter ha. Ha. Some people call it the hard one, because Arabic has a ha and a ha. So some people call that the hard ha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You might need to practice this letter, especially if you are older and you're not used to getting those letters out of your throat. A lot of people turn that ha into a K I literally saw some people transliterate Ar-Rahman as Rockman. 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 It's Ar-Rahman. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This H here, that little small one, that's just a regular ha. This big one that's bold and underlined, that's a ha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So don't let yourself say here, Bismillahi. Bismillahi. That's the wrong letter. Also, in this ayah, right here you see this H-I-R. And over here you see N-I-R. So it's like you're saying here and near, if that'll help you to pronounce it properly. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So pronounce your Seen, double the lam. Bismillah. Stretch the alif. Bismillah. Bismillahirrahman. Double whatever needs to be doubled. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next ayah. Alhamdu. Al, lift your tongue for that lam. Al. Don't say alhamdu, alhamdu. Alhamdu. And you see that's ha. Alhamdu. Alhamdu lillahi. Doubled lam and extended vowel. Lillahi. Lillahi. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi. Rabbi. Doubled ba. Rabbi. Now here we have a lam, so you need to lift your tongue. Now I know these are English letters. Just let me name the Arabic letters when I point at the English letters. Don't feel too bad about that, because I don't want to call it an L when it's a lamb, and it's a little bit hard to point back and forth. So, inshallah, when I say the Arabic letter, I mean what it really is, not what I'm pointing at per se. So, we have a lamb, Rabbil Alameen. So you need to lift your tongue, just like you lifted it here. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. See all those lambs in there? Practice your lamb, lifting it to the top. But here, Rabbi, we have the lamb. You're going to lift your tongue. And we have this little caret. That caret is for that letter from the middle of your throat called Ain. Ain. Practice it if you need to. Ain. Ain. That's the name of the letter. Ain. Okay? Ain is a medium letter, so don't make it too hard and don't make it too soft. The sound of this letter here is ah, ah, ah. So that letter, that caret itself is ah. And these two A's, what's that? That represents alif, extended vowel. So you have ah, 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 ah. That's two letters I'm saying there. It's just that the transition between them is smooth, so you need to get an ear for that. Ah. Alif is ah. Ain is ah. 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 So here, don't stretch the ayn. Don't say Rabbil Alameen. The ayn lasts for one moment. Stretch the alif. Rabbil Alameen. And also, don't double the lam here. Don't say Rabbil Alameen. And also, don't add a Y. Don't say Rabbil Alameen. It's like you're at the dentist. Open wide. Your tongue is down. Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Stretch that last vowel. Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Next ayah is easy. It's just like the first one. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. You have ra that needs to be doubled in two spots. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. You have a ha. Make sure you get that out of your throat nice and clear. Don't make it sound like a kha. That's a completely different letter from a completely different spot. Don't say Ar-Rahman. Don't say Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman. And also here, Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Next ayah. Maliki Yawmiddin. Pretty easy. Stretch the vowel. Maliki. Maliki. Maliki Yawmiddin. Doubled dal. Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. That's pretty easy. Some people say midin. You have to double it. Yawmiddin. Here, when you say Yawmi, Yawmi, take your time. Don't say Yawmi, Yawmi. Yawmi. Maliki Yawmiddin. This can be recited another way. Maliki, without the extension. Inshallah, we'll come back. As you see, in some spots there's a red alternative. We'll come back and take a look at those, inshallah. So right now, we're going to not pay attention to the red spots so that we can keep the recitation consistent. Fifth ayah. Let me know if you need me to repeat anything or if I'm going too fast. Or if you have a question. Iyaka. Iyaka. So we have a doubled ya. Iyaka. So don't say iyaka. Say iyaka. Iyaka. Iyaka na'budu. Na'budu. Have our ayn. Na'budu. Na'budu. We have a noon, na, and then an ayn. That's two different letters. Na'budu. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Wa iyyaka, another doubled ya, extended vowel. Iyyaka وإياك نستعين. We have seen, sharp whistle. Nasta'een. We have an ayn, here in this spot. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Sixth ayah. I'm trying to fix my Saud. This letter, Saud. I need to practice the letter Saud. And this is the letter that needs the most attention. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. I intended to prepare some recitations for you, recordings of some reciters, so that you could hear their pronunciation of the Saud. Then I said to myself, you can do it, Ra'id. Insha'Allah, you will pronounce Saud clearly, and you won't need to rely on those recordings. So, MashaAllah. Here, this ayah, all of it needs good attention. Look how many things you need to pay attention to here. One, this ha. Ihdina. That's a ha. You can't skip it. Don't say idina. You can't read that like English, as if it's a silent H. Ihdina. It's not a ha. Don't say ih. So that's one. Ihdina. Two, you have Saud. The letter Saud. Not just that. Three, this Saud has a shadda. Ihdina sirata. That one wasn't bad, alhamdulillah. Ihdina sirata. So make sure you double that. Ihdina sirata. We have an extended vowel. Ihdina sirata. Now we have a big capital bold T with an underline, because that's the letter Ta. Ta is the mightiest of the letters. It has all of the hardest qualities, all of the strongest qualities. Of all the Arabic letters, there are soft qualities and hard qualities and medium qualities. So all the hard qualities, Ta has all of them. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. We have a lam. Lift your tongue. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. We have a seen. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. This Q, bold, capital Q, is for the letter Qaf. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. So don't pronounce it as a K. Don't say al-mustaqim. No. It's thicker than that. Al-mustaqim. Next ayah. Also, you need to pay good attention to this next ayah. So pretty much, when it comes to practicing Al-FaatiHah, give very good special attention to the last three verses. The last ayah has many things to look out for. Siratal ladhina. So, Sod, Sod, Siratal ladhina. Sod has this whistle sound. Siratal ladhina. Extended vowel. Sirata. We have a ta. Sirata. Siratal ladhina. We have a doubled lam. Siratal ladhina. Siratal ladhina. This DH represents the letter thal. Like in English, if you said the or this or that. Siratal ladhina. Some people pronounce this with the Z or letter Zai, and that is invalid. And you'll tend to find that among Pakistani, Indian, and other Muslims of that area. So be mindful, brothers and sisters, about that here. Don't say Siratal lazina. It's invalid. Siratal ladhina. It actually renders the word meaningless. If you put a zai there, when you say al-lazina, you will render the word meaningless. Siratal ladhina an'amta, an'amta. So don't mix those two sounds. An'amta, an'amta, an'amta. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, alayhim. Siratal ladhina. Extended vowel. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, alayhim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Gha, gha, gha. This letter is called ghain. It's from the top of your throat. It's like a gargle sound, but just because it's like a gargle sound doesn't mean it has to be ugly and unattractive. Rather, make your ghain nice and smooth. Ghain is really pretty smooth. If somebody doesn't get to know ghain well, you might think ghain is like maybe a creep or a grouch or something, but really it's pretty smooth. Ghairi, 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 gha, gha, gha. Ghairil maghdubi. So you have two ghains, gha and magh. Gha, magh, gha, magh. Ghairi, ghairi. So GH is for ghain. You have this AY, ghay, ghay, ghairi, RI. Ghairi, ghairi, ghairi. We have a lam. Lift your tongue. Ghairil maghdubi. Ghairil maghdubi. We have here capital D underline. That's for the letter Baud. Baud. Arabic language is called Lughatul Baud, the language of the Baud. The way of pronouncing Baud is by pressing your tongue, the side of your tongue, against your molars. So the spot of the letter Baud, unlike other letters, is long. All the other letters, they come from a dot on your tongue. But the letter Baud comes from a line on your tongue. So your whole tongue is lined up, pressed against your molars, and then you release as if you're blowing a puff of air into your cheek. Ba, ba, boo, boo, boy, boy, ba. Ghayril maghdubi. Most people make this letter come from the left side. Some people can make it come from the right side. It was said about Umar ibn al-Khattab that he could make it come from both sides. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Don't stretch that B. 2 O's, so you stretch the vowel. Ghayril maghdubi, not dubi. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Now, we're going to pause real quick to talk about the next line, but when we recite, we're not going to break those two apart. So for the sake of learning, we're just going to take this line, investigate it, and then we're going to recite all of that together in one breath, inshallah. Wala, wala. Before you get to that Baud, doubled Baud, we have wa, la. Wa. What's the sound of wow with FaatiHah? Wa, not wa. Don't say walla, walla, or walla. Wa, like apple, like hammer, bag. Wa, la. Wala, wala. Now, here's a common mistake. You just learned that the letter Baud comes from the side of your tongue against your molars. Ba, 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 boo, 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 boy, boy, boy. Now the letter Dal, that's like a D in English. So that comes from the front of your tongue, not the side of your tongue. It's a completely different letter from a completely different spot. Da, da, da. A dal is really closer to a ta than it is to a baud. Because dal and ta come from the same spot. Da, 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 ta, ta, ta. As for ba, 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 that's a completely different spot with different qualities. So what are a lot of people going to do? Let's say a person practiced and he got his Baud. He's finally able to say Baud, which is not difficult. But here at this spot, what a lot of people tend to do is, since the Baud is doubled here, they go walad da, and they make that first one a dal. So they go from the front of the tongue and they say walad. See, there's the front of the tongue, not a Baud. They say walad, and then they transfer to the side. So they say walad dali. No. You go immediately to the side. Walad da. Walad da. Wa. My mouth is open. Wa. My mouth is open. La. Now here, when I say la, my mouth is going to close and my tongue is going to, the side of my tongue is going to press right against my molars. I'm imagining like, when I say la, it's like my tongue jumped on the trampoline, now it's coming back down. Walao, fell into the trampoline. Walao dallin. Walao dallin. So there's your double Baud. Go from the la to the Baud immediately. Wala-da, 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 wala-dallin. Here, hold this for 6 counts. That's why we have 6 of them there. You don't have to hold it for 6 counts to be valid, but to get the sunnah, hold it for 6 counts. 1 count is the time it takes to fold your finger or to unfold your finger. So if you fold your finger and unfold it, that's 2 counts. So if you do that 3 times, that's 6 counts. Wala-dallin. Or you can just like count your fingertips, put your thumb on your pinky, and then go like that to the next finger and the next finger. Wala-dallin. And don't think of yourself that you recite so well, because maybe some of you recite very fine, better than me. I don't know all who's listening to this lesson. But you're such an expert that you don't have to count your 6 counts. You can recite so well that your 6 counts are perfect without you using your fingers. Maybe it is. But if you want, just use your fingers anyway. Especially if that helps to make you humble at the least. Wala-dallin. Double the lam. Wala-dallin. And stretch that vowel sound at the end. Wala-dallin. So let's try that from the beginning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Next ayah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Again. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Again. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Next. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Next. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. That sawd wasn't that good. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. That was better. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. So you should hear the difference when you recite between Sawd and Sin. This verse has Sod, and Sin. So they should sound different. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Also, this verse has ta and ta. Ta, ta, and ta. Ta, ta, ta. Not ta, ta. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. People famously stop here, and in some recitations you certainly can stop here. Hajj Ali told me, if we recite this recitation like we've been doing, keep going at this spot. Don't stop there. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. If you did stop there, it won't invalidate your prayer. If you said صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. But if you can, recite this entire ayah from beginning to end in one breath. So take a breath and practice breath control throughout all your recitation, whenever you recite any of the Quran. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Again, take a nice good breath. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. One more time. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. Now, remaining is just to look at these red ones that we skipped. Don't let this recitation that we're going to do now discourage you from practicing the recitation with a Saud if you experience trouble with the letter Saud. Don't give up. Just keep practicing. But there is another recitation, at least for the validity of your prayer, in which there's no Saud. It's all Sin. But when you recite with a Sin instead of a Saud, there are a few alterations you need to observe. For example, you say Maliki without extending the vowel. Maliki Yawmiddin. If you recite Maliki without an extension, then when you get down here, you can recite with a Sin, and you can say Ihdina siratal mustaqim. And you can continue with the Sin, but then you need to add some extension also in here, as you'll see. So then you recite like this. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So let's recite, inshallah, one time from beginning to end according to this other recitation. Observe your breath control. Take a nice good breath and try to get each ayah out in one breath. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. No extension. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. No Saad, only Seen. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. No Saad, and you have extensions here. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا. I ran out of breath. If you attempt to recite this ayah and you run out of breath like I just did, then you can say wala. Just remember to stretch that. It becomes stretched if you break the rest of the word off. Wala. And then back up and go back to wa. Wala dallin. So in other words, this is what it would look like if I run out of breath and I want to back up. I would recite like this. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.